Hey guys, my name is Ben. Welcome back to another Bukkit plugging tutorial. And today we're going to be looking at timers for things. So I've had lots of people request things on my Bat Night videos and stuff, being like, "Oh, how did you make that timer?" So today we're going to make one in our BEN class. So let's remove everything in here. And what I normally do for timers is I'm going to make a new class. Let's actually just organize my imports there. I'm going to make a new class, and what I normally call it is game loop, and it's the game loop. It loops through the game, and it's going to have an interface which is runnable. It's going to implement runnable. So just click add, search for runnable there, and it'll come up with runnable. Just click OK, and then finish, and it's going to generate this class for us. This public class game loop which implements runnable. Now with this class, what we can do is we can actually call this class as a scheduled synced repeating method through Bukkit without having to use any threads. So actually, if we just, there's loads of ways you can actually initialize this, but how we're going to do it is we're going to say on enable. So my headphones beeping. I have a charger thing somewhere that's it's beeping at me. Got new headphones and they're all fancy and wireless and like to beep at me. So yeah, anyway, so what I'm basically saying is you can call this task. You hear people heard it. Okay, so anyway, you can call this class, through other classes, and you can cancel it and stuff like that. So we'll get on to cancelling tasks and that. So we're gonna call this task through our onEnable, and we're gonna say get server dot get scheduler, and then all we can say really is schedule async repeating task. We're gonna use this as the plugin. The runnable is going to be a new game loop like that. So it's going to make the new game loop class, and then this is the time between each one. So we want 20L and 20L, so 1 second delays each time, like that. And that's what it does. And that's going to call this class, and it's going to run through this run thing every 1 second. And then we were going to want to cancel this on the disable. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to say get server dot get scheduler dot cancel task, and we want to cancel the task at we're going to make a new integer in a minute. I'm going to tell you how that works. And this is going to be called game loop. And that's not how you spell loop. That's not how you spell loop either. There we go, like that. And up here, we're going to make a public static integer game loop, which equals 0. And this is going to be, so game loop is equal to this, whatever this value returns. So obviously, you've noticed before, this actually returns an integer value, which is the actual ID. So we're going to cancel that task. Cool. So that's how that works. Now in here, this is how we're going to work this out. What we have to do is I'm going to make a few variables up here. Now obviously, you'd have to implement this into your plugin to how you want it to be made. This is just how I make it. So this is how I do things. So I actually have the code from the Bat Night in front of me here, and this is very personalized to the Bat Night plugin. Like I have lots of Jesus Christ, was that an email? I don't even know. So anyway, I have lots of variables and stuff in here, which obviously you never use. Like I have variables to check if the game's paused and stuff like that, because I have pause game stuff in the plugin and that. So there's lots of different facts you've got to bring into it, but there's the core components, which are the time in seconds until the game starts, can the game start, and well, that's it, I think. Yeah, and can the game start? So we're gonna make them. So in here, so we're gonna make a public static int time in seconds equals 120, like that, so 2 minutes. And here we can just say time in seconds equals 120. And then let's just format all this, and then that doesn't want to be equal, so we're just going to make that nothing, and we're going to make a public boolean can start equals false. It's always going to be false when you enable the plugin, which means we can just close that off. Can start equals false. So whenever you enable the plugin, we can't start. We're also going to implement this class with a listener, so we can add some listener objects and methods into it. So at event handler, public void on player join. So when a player joins, so player join event. So when they join, import Control Shift O, Control Shift F, Control S. It's like what I go through. I go Control Shift O, 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 S, and it all just does everything. So anyway, when they join, we want to update the canStart variable. So we want to say if event dot if Bukkit, no, not Ben, with a capital E. If Bukkit dot get online players dot length, so the amount of players online is greater than or equal to the number of players we want for the game to start, so 4, then we're going to say canStart equals true. Equals true. And actually a quick way of doing this is we can just say canStart is equal to buckets dot get online players dot length is greater than or equal to 4. So that returns a true or false value. If that is true, canStart is true, otherwise it's false. And similarly, sat player, I'm just gonna shut up, quit event on player leave, we're gonna say canStart equals that -1, because this is before, like before they actually leave, so we want a -1 chair squared and equal to 4. So yeah, that's how that happens, and we actually want to now get into the game loop. So in our run method, we want to de-increment by 1 every time. So the way we do that is, so now as I was saying, sorry, we want to actually de-increment the value of the time in seconds by 1 every single time we run the loop. So the way we do that is we want to check the time in seconds first. So we want to say if BEN, I'm going to hate that, if the time in seconds is greater than or equal to 60, and BEN, obviously this will be whatever you called it, dot time seconds modulus 60 is equal to 0. So what's it saying is, if we give time seconds a value, it's going to say if that time seconds is greater than 60 and that time in seconds, say if it was 120, divided by 60 has no remainder. So if it's either 60 or 120, what we're going to say is we're going to say I'm going to make a method in a minute, broadcast time until start, and that's going to take the argument as true. Okay, so what we now want to do is we want to say if BEN dot time seconds is less than or equal to 30, and BEN dot time in seconds is modulusable by 15 with no remainder, or divisible by 15 with no remainder, and obviously this time the time in seconds is greater than 0, so like that. So basically if it's either 30 or 15, we're going to say broadcast time until start, and again that's going to be true. I'll tell you why we have true and stuff in these arguments here. So anyway, we're now going to check if BEN dot time in seconds is less than or equal to 10, like that. So if the time is less than or equal to 10 and BEN dot time in seconds is greater than 0, obviously, we're going to say broadcast time until start, and that's going to be false this time. And I'm going to make another method called play or note, like that. And then we're going to say if BEN dot time in seconds is equal to 0. So finally, if it is equal to 0, then if BEN dot canStart, so if the game can, did I not make that method static? No, I didn't. Static. If BEN dot canStart, so if the game actually can start, then we're going to say, you could do whatever you want. We're going to say Bukkit dot broadcast message. That's not what I wanted. Broadcast message, game started, like that, maybe. I mean, obviously you do whatever you want here. I'm just showing how I did the timer, because I've had a lot of requests. So many requests. You don't understand, people. So anyway, otherwise we're gonna broadcast a message saying not enough players, resetting timer, like that. resetting. That's not. I can't type. I just got back. My fingers are all climby. Anyway, and then we're going to say play or reset note, like that. And then we're going to reset the time. So be.n.timeseconds is equal to 121. So every time this gets run, every second, it's going to go back to 121 and it'll go back up to here. Now the reason we say it to 121 and not 120 is because what we say is if ben.timeseconds is greater than 0, so it's greater than 0, we're going to say ben.timeseconds minus minus, like that. So if it's 121, it's going to minus it, so it'll be 120 the next time this gets actually instantiated. Cool, so let's make these methods note and reset note, like that. Now what broadcast time until start is going to do is all it's really going to do is it's going to say bucket if ben.timeseconds is modulusable by 60, then we're going to say bucket.broadcast message. Sorry, if it's divisible by 60 with no remainders, we're going to say ben.timeseconds minutes until start. So what it's going to say is, because it's divisible by 60, it's going to be a minute. So yeah, like that. And we're going to say else, or yeah, else if ben.timeseconds is modulusable by 30, or we could just say it's equal to 30. Or we could say .timeseconds is modulusable by 15 and ben.timeseconds is greater than or is less than 60. We're going to say that equals 0, and also we want to check and ben.timeseconds is greater than 60 or greater than or equal to. We want to say bucket.broadcast message something like ben.timeseconds, and then in this time instead of minutes we're going to say seconds until the game starts. Now obviously you don't have to do this, this just makes it look, you know, neater. And then I want to say else if ben.timeseconds is less than or equal to 10, we could just say the bucket.broadcast message again this here. Well, I mean we could just say like I mean we don't even need this modulus. We could just say if the time in seconds is less than 60, because this only gets called a certain amount of times. Now this B thing is I can call this extra args, and what it's going to do is we're going to put in like the map name and stuff. So if extra arguments, you know, we could broadcast the extra arguments. I mean, I don't know what you want to put here. This is all very customizable. So extra info, like that. So you know, you put your extra info in there, and that only does it sometimes. You don't want it when it's going down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You don't want it to add that every time because it will spam your chat. You just want sort of like the time until second, the time until start. So reset note. This is to make things play notes, which sounds nice. It just sounds nice. So basically, this is a simple thing to do. Basically, what you have to do is you have to look through the players. So for player buckets dot get online players. So we're gonna look through all the players like that. And then we're gonna say player dot play sound. We're gonna play a sound effect at the player's location. So player dot get location, and the sound is gonna be sound dot. Sorry about that. So it's gonna be sound dot note underscore piano, and I think the second argument is the sort of like volume of it, so we're going to set the volume to 10, and then it's the octave we're going to play at, so 1, we're going to play at the octave of 1, just so it sounds like duh, not like really high, not low, or yeah, fairly low, so it's hearable basically. And resetting is something a little different, so what we have to do is you have to loop through the players again. We have to make them final players actually, so they can be modified. So final player, I'll explain why in a minute. We're going to look for the players, so bucket.getOnlinePlayers, and we're going to make a final location at, we're going to call it L, and that's going to be equal to new location. Actually, no, it doesn't need to be that, I don't think. No, we can just make it player dot get location like that. Import that from there, and what we want to say now is we're going to make a new thread, new runnable. This is something fairly simple, I'll go over in a minute, and we're going to say dot start down here like that. So obviously just copy this code. I find it easier to understand if we put it all on one line. So new thread, it's like that, and then we put two brackets, semicolon at the end, dot start. So we're going to start a new thread, which is a new thing that can be run at the same time as something else. Inside of this thread, we want to have a new runnable, which is something that actually runs something. So we can make a new runnable like that, and then obviously we're going to have to add these things like that. Well, I don't know if you can actually do it just like this. No. So no, you can put these two things like that. Now another way of, an easy way of doing this is if we just type run and then new run and then hit control and space. It's going to come up with lots of different things. Now with the top one, just hit enter, and it's going to make this thing for us like that. So it's going to make a little nice thing. Now the reason I like doing it like this is because we can now try and catch, actually, because it's going to be a dodgy exception, because this isn't like the exception. This isn't the most efficient way of doing it, but I mean it's not inefficient in a sense. There are more efficient ways of doing it, but why would you want to? Because it only takes up like half a second. So what we want to do is we want to go for int I equals 0, I is less than 4, and then I++. So we want to run this loop. I hit caps lock, didn't I? And we want to run this loop 4 times, wherever's in this loop. And inside this loop is, if we unfreeze, is player dot play effect at the location we created, and the effect is going to be effect dot click 1, or it could be click 2, whatever you want it to be, and then the intensity will be 1, so like that, just like a normal sounding thing. Then we're going to say thread, which is the thread we just made, dot sleep for 450 seconds, I find is about right. So when it's resetting, it just goes click 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 click, as if it's resetting, whereas if it's like a countdown thing, it'll go ding 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 ding, and then when it gets to 0, it'll be the ding 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 tick 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 ding. So it'll reset in like that sort of style. So yeah, this isn't going to be something easy I can test. I can't actually really test it, if I'm honest. But this works. I have pieces of paper. I've been checking it against it because I don't want to show you a tutorial that doesn't actually work. This works perfectly fine. You can find examples of it on Batnight. Just go to thebatnight.com. That's always fun. So yeah, if there's nothing you understand, if there's something you don't understand, then obviously just comment it down below, and I'm sure someone will help you out. If you still don't understand, you can then email us at contact@TheBCBroz.com. Actually, don't do that. The email's down. Don't contact us there. Don't do that. You can message us on YouTube, and I will reply to your message if I think it's worth replying to. I won't reply to messages that I think you can find an answer to on the Bukkit forums. If you have any problems, just go to the Bukkit forums and post something there, and they will help you out. They are good people. I sit on there sometimes, and I just go through all of them, and I help people out, just answering questions and stuff. So yeah, this is obviously outrageously customizable. You can do whatever you want with it. You can change the numbers to, like, you know, you could change this to like 180. You could change it to like 5 minutes, so like 120, or you could just 60 times 5. I'm good at maths. 60 times 5. So yeah, you know, if there's something you don't understand, then obviously look up the Modulus keyword. I could explain it again, but I think it's quite self-explanatory. It's basically saying if say time in seconds was 60, we're saying if 60 is greater than 60, so it is, or sorry, greater than or equal to 60, and then we're saying and 60 is divisible, the remainder given by 60 divided by 60 is 0, because there's no remainders. 60 divided by 60 is just 1, so there's no remainders in that. It's gonna broadcast that message. So that's how that works, and I think it's something you need to grasp. It's a lot of it clears things up within the code. So yeah, Thanks for watching, guys. This has been quite a long episode, and I'll see you next time.